ever felt like you're running empty, like you're trying to be everything for everyone? You're tired of feeling like, I am the girl who's consistently in their masculine and life is just not flowing the way it needs to be and I'm far from soft. What if I told you that the secret to feeling feminine, soft, and flowing is already inside you? Hey ladies, Chica here, and today I'm gonna dive into something that's literally gonna change your life. We are gonna talk today about embracing and enabling your feminine energy, that magnetic life force that's already inside you. But ladies, I think what's important first is we need to break down what is feminine energy, what does it look like? And then we're gonna talk about the 5 ways you can enable feminine energy, and make sure you stick around for the last one because it's the one that has literally changed my life and how I approach and embrace my softness. Feminine energy is about being in flow, right? It is the complete opposite of masculine energy, which is consistently making decisions, being analytical, being logical. Feminine energy is about slowing down, nurturing, creativity. It's about this magnetic energy that is just around you. And it's also about being collaborative. It's about relationship building. And what I feel that a lot of people don't understand about feminine energy is that you can use it for obviously dating, and that's most of the reason why people want to understand feminine energy, but I feel that feminine energy can use for your work, for your business, and even for your self-improvement and self-love. Feminine energy is also about embracing your softness, right? That soft, almost childlike energy that I believe all of us have. It's about living in a life of flow and tapping into your intuition. That is your gut feeling down here, right? It's not about always making a decision in your head and your mind. It's about just that knowing that this is the right way to go about doing things. And it's also about receiving. And I know so many of you ladies have an issue of just simply receiving love, receiving care. And that is why so many of us are going around doing everything for everyone because we don't know how to receive. And it's far from weak. A lot of people feel that when you're in your feminine energy or you're consistently in your feminine energy, it's you being weak, and it's far from that. The first way to enable your feminine energy is to tap into your sensuality. And the key thing about tapping into your sensuality, ladies, is that it's enabling all the senses, right? So it is what you see, which is why it's really important to have an environment around you, whether it's in your apartment or your home or just different places around you, and it feels cozy, it feels soft, it feels like you. You should look at your home and say, this is me, right? I'm like in my house and I love it because I literally feel like it emanates feminine energy, it emanates what I want to feel inside, right? And I generally feel that my surroundings make me feel good. It's also about enabling the touch, right? Now, of course, you know, ladies always talk about self-care days and going to the masseuse and getting a massage, but it's also about what is on your skin, you know, day to day. That's the reason why it's so important that you start to reflect on what type of clothes am I wearing, right? Am I wearing clothes that make me feel sexy, alive? And sexy is not Fashion Nova. A lot of people put on a tight dress and they're like, oh yeah, I'm good, I'm sexy. And that could be a form of it. But also it's about wearing things with good fabrics, right? Like for example, what I have on right now is a cotton fabric. It feels good on my skin. It feels light, right? It feels breathable. It could be wearing silk. I have recently been adapting wearing silk to bed, right? It feels good on my body, it feels light, it feels breathable, everything is just flowing around me when I walk up and down the halls. And I love wearing silk because especially after I take a hot shower and put on that silk and then put on my cozy slippers, I'm ready to go to bed, right? And it's also about finding pieces that scream you and make you feel confident. And so I will do a whole nother video about, you know, confidence and styling and sensuality. If you want me to, put it in the comments if it's important to you, but it's about enabling that sense. Another thing that you want to enable when it's about sensuality is the scent, right? This is why I am a perfume fanatic, because the scent around you it really changes how you embrace your own sensuality. So for example, when you're at home, you don't always have to say perfume for when you're stepping outside and you're among others, right? Start to figure out, what is your scent? What is your signature scent that makes you feel like you? When you're working at home, what is that scent of the day? Think about the candles or the incense that is around your home. When you step into your home, what do you want it to smell like, right? And for me, it changes throughout the season. Sometimes I just have on like a warm, cozy vanilla scent. And funny enough, recently I've been reaching for my incense. It's kind of this like lavender oud scent that I've really been enjoying, and others have been enjoying as well. But make sure to figure out what is going to be your scent, your theme, right? And also that translate into your perfume collection, right? And I feel like it's really important to connect sensuality with the scent, because again, it enables this sense literally in you that I feel a lot of people don't tap into day to day. The second way to enable your feminine energy is to simply connecting with other women, right? If you are gonna tap into this femininity, you gotta tap in with other women. And I wanna share this tip because, interestingly enough, lately on Threads, I've been seeing a lot of women talking about not having friends, being lonely. And what's been more interesting is I've been seeing threads of women saying, hey, looking for other women who are X, Y, and Z to hang out with. So I think that this is really an important time for all women to be connecting with themselves. You don't have to have a huge entourage. I think the common misconception is that, well, if I don't have 7 or 8 friends, I don't got nobody. It could just be 2, 3 people that you trust and that you are connecting with on a regular basis, right? And so this can come out in different ways. Number one, maybe you join an interest group or some type of organization where you are connecting with like-minded women and you have a chance to connect. You know, for me as a creator, there's some creator groups that I am part of. I'm among women. I'm able to have those conversations, but also tapping into your friends, because femininity is about being vulnerable, right? And you need a safe space. You need a space where I can just tell someone, I'm not feeling it today. I'm not feeling like myself, right? Or someone who can hype and cheer you up. Last night I went out with one of my girls I haven't seen in a while, and she was just hyping me up and making me feel good, and I was laughing and we're hugging, and I just really enjoyed that time of being with her. It felt good, you know, and it just lifted up my spirit. So I think every woman should be consistently having that hype woman, that person that can connect with you. And also, even if you can't always physically meet in person, because maybe you've gotten to the point of life like me where my friends are literally distributed all around the world, right? I have friends in London, I have friends across the US, I have friends in Nigeria, I have friends in South Africa. I've literally friends all over the place, right? So a way to connect with them is through a virtual girls' night, right? Where you just all get on, you know, whether it's a Zoom or WhatsApp or, you know, FaceTime, and all of you come together and play a game or connect. I feel like that's so important for women, even if you can't physically do it. Of course, do the brunch, the girls' day. You can also do a date night with your girls. Date night is only all about men. Sometimes you want to do a date night with the girls. You get all together. I love getting all dressed up. We eat good, we're connecting, or travel, right? I'm going to be traveling with my girls soon to Europe. I'm going to meet them in France, and we're just going to have a good time. My husband's not going to be included, just me and my girls. But lastly, I want you to take away this tip, and you can do this right now, right? So I am known for voice notes. I am the voice note queen. Sometimes what I need to say needs to be only said on a voice note because you can hear my tone, you can hear my intention. So I want you to send a voice note to a friend and let them know you appreciate them. And we don't get that enough. Definitely don't get that enough. So send a voice note to your girl that did something for you, or you just want to say, I'm grateful for having you in my life, or I love you, or I miss you. Send her that voice note, and trust me, you're going to feel so much better. Tip number 3, ladies, you need to tap into an abundance mindset. Let me tell you, ladies, femininity cannot thrive when you are having a scarcity mindset. Literally, scarcity sucks out all the air in the room. You have to feel abundant and flowing and have so much gratitude. And it's so important. Many of us do not have an abundance mindset, and you'll be shocked that it comes up in interesting ways, right? So for example, maybe you want to take a leap of faith of leaving your 9 to 5, but your scarcity mindset is telling you you can't do that. You don't have enough money. You have not saved enough. How are you going to live? Are you going to be able to find the money? Like, that is all those narrative in our head of scarcity, right? But then the other side is the abundance mindset, which is, yes, I'm leaving my 9 to 5, which is a comfortable paycheck I get every month, but I'm moving towards a unlimited financial potential, right? I am moving and shifting to a scenario where money is flowing to me, money is coming to me. And I know I've done this recently for my life. I decided to become a full-time content creator earlier this year. And ladies, in the beginning, I was having a moment of scarcity, right? I was dealing with the manager, that's a whole nother story, that basically made me feel like my content wasn't good enough. And I started doubting myself, right? And I simply just felt like I don't have the tools or the resources or the things around me to do that. But then I had a moment to myself and I said, Chica, you are an abundant person. Things are always flowing towards you. How can I change my mindset so I have an abundance mindset towards my content creation journey? I have an abundance mindset for everything else. I had an abundance mindset for finding love and friendships and other things. How can I turn this thing into myself? So what I did was I started putting my steps together, putting myself in rooms with other people, starting educating myself, giving myself resources. And I will tell you, this quarter is my most abundant quarter ever in my life, right? And I'm moving towards something I've never done before, right? I am learning on the go, but yet I am living in abundance, and it's wild to me, right? And I feel like, ladies, just really reflect on how abundant are you? Have that conversation with yourself. Do I believe in abundance? Do I feel like things come to me? Do I have the intuition to know that, life is working for me, it's flowing for me? And really have an honest conversation. And so the practical tip I want you to walk away here is to journal it, right? Write yourself, do I have an abundance mindset, right? And reflect on the times you were abundant. Reflect on the times things came to you. Reflect on the times that you got that promotion that you didn't even know was gonna come, or just random amount of money just entered your bank account, right? Or the love, maybe you just have an abundance of love that's given towards you. Whatever it is, I want you to write it down, and it's gonna help you to start to remember you're an abundant person, you're an abundant human being. And I think the other thing around abundance is affirming yourself. So how I started to have an abundance mindset was literally to start listening to affirmations. And so if you listen to my self-love podcast with Chica, I have tons of affirmations around feminine flow and abundance and things to help you start to shift into that mindset. But here on YouTube, there's lots of affirmations. Literally, you can type in abundance mindset. It's literally on YouTube. Hundreds and thousands of videos around abundance mindset. And so start listening to those affirmations. And when you start to listen to affirmations and you start to affirm this abundance around you, and you literally look in the mirror and say, I'm an abundance woman, right? I am an abundance feminine woman. Trust me, everything's gonna change for you. Tip number 4, I want you to tap into an artistic hobby without any pressures of being perfect, right? Sometimes we get into a hobby and we start to do this thing of, I need to be the best, and we go down this huge rabbit hole of how to be the best at this hobby. And ladies, I want you sometimes just to do something for you, something that makes you feel good, something that just brings you joy, something that you're not gonna probably be the best at, but it helps you to tap into that femininity, right? It helps you to tap into that flow. I know for me, something that I have tapped into, and it's the interesting thing about this particular hobby, is that my husband picked up on it. So he actually next week has booked a salsa dance class for us to attend, right? But I just started dancing. I've been a dancer for a very long time. I was a gymnast, I was a cheerleader. And of course, at my age, I'm not gonna be a cheerleader, right? So what is the hobby that I can do to tap into my own creativity? And that is through dancing. I love dancing. It's probably one of the few activities where I'm not reflecting, I'm not thinking, I'm literally not in my masculine because I'm not up here, I'm down here, I'm in my body, I'm feeling good, I'm going with the beats, I'm going with the flow, and music makes me feel good, it makes me feel happy, and I love dancing. I know I'm not the best. I know I don't, well, I'm good, but I'm not amazing, right? And I feel like, when I just put on those heels and I start to do those curves and just sliding around the floor and all those things, I feel good. And the other way I tap into this hobby is that sometimes, I'm busy, I'm traveling, I don't have time to go find a dance class. I literally watch dance videos. I love watching them, and I start to reflect on how do I feel when I do that, right? And I feel that it's a really good way to tap into your creativity. So I want you to reflect on what's gonna be my creative hobby. It could be, again, dancing. It could be watercoloring, some type of painting, drawing. It could just be organizing. It could be cooking. Cooking is a feminine art. It's not an art just for women. So I want you to understand the difference. But it is a feminine art because you're making something with your hands. And a lot of times you're intuitively putting together ingredients and you're intuitively thinking through how the recipe is going to flow and how it's tasting, right? So reflect on what is that feminine hobby that's going to be. Again, no pressure. No pressure, just something that you do and you enjoy. And I feel like the right way to know that this is the right feminine hobby is that you're not thinking. Like, it's not going to your head, you're not being logical about it. The moment that you're like overanalyzing, overthinking it, either A, you're putting too much pressure on yourself, or B, it's a hobby that it doesn't feel natural or it's not really flowing. And then maybe you need to switch to another hobby. So the practical tip I want you to do here is number one, again, you can journal and start to write, get in the morning, just start writing, start feeling, because again, writing is a creative expression. B, start to doodle, right? And I have done this as well. Sometimes I'm in a meeting and I'm doodling, or sometimes I literally have an adult coloring book with color pencils, and I actually need to tap into that. But I love it because it just reminds me of my child self, right? And it just reminds me of like how creative and imaginative I could be. So I want you to start reflecting on your hobby, what it's gonna be, and again, something that there's no pressure, no one's judging you, you're just doing this because it makes you feel good. Now we're at tip number 5. And remember, I told you this is the most important one. This one really changed my life. You wanna know what it is? I started to receive. And I want you to accept receiving. This is a very hard one. It's really difficult for so many of you to just simply open up like this and receive, right? And one of the things I want you to reflect on is, the last time someone gave you a compliment, and it can be as simple as, girl, I love your shoes, or that color looks good on you, or I love this new hair length you have. And reflect on how did I respond to that? And a lot of us cringe, A lot of us, when we get a compliment, we do, oh, this old thing, or girl, it's not really how I want it. Or you kind of get shy and bashful and start going like this, right? And I want you to, instead of backing away from the compliment, I want you to fully embrace it. Take that compliment like a hug, right? And you're hugging, and you're warm, and it's embraced. And the next time someone gives you a compliment, say, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Because that is receiving. Not receiving is not the notion of the cringing, but when you start to open yourself up and you actually fully receive the compliment and fully embrace that compliment, that is now you opening to receiving. And this is so important because I feel that so many of us are holding on to things. We're holding on to expectations. We're holding on to certain burdens. And we're not opening ourselves up to what it could look like just to simply receive that love, that energy, that softness. Ladies, I want to share here how this specific notion of the art of receiving, being open to receiving, literally changed my life because it changed my worldview. I started to realize everything is for me. everything is working in my favor, right? People are looking to help me. People are looking to give me something, right? It's not just people taking from me. People are willing to help me, and people are willing to give me things. And it really just helped me to open up my mind to that possibility. And it's not a sense of entitlement, because I do feel like there are some women who go around saying, oh, you have to help me, or I'm always going to be a damsel in distress. That's not what I'm saying. I'm simply saying that you're open to receiving love, support, care. And I had to do this with my husband, right? And it's interesting because my husband is one of those people that he really just wants to help people. He's super resourceful. And I'll never forget, we took our first trip together a couple years ago, and this was early on when we were dating, like 6 months into us dating, and we were going to Mexico. And so I was used to, again, the burden of planning the trip and putting things together and putting all the itinerary together. And then at one point my husband looked at me, he said, you know, I know how to plan a vacation, right? And I said, oh. And I wasn't used to that. I wasn't used to receiving that, right? And I literally just stepped back. I said, you know what? Do you? And he planned the whole trip. We had an amazing time. We ate really well. And honestly, since that moment, he's been the one planning everything. And I started to just open to receive the help and the support, right? He is the one now planning the trips. I'm now living in my softest princess era, and I love it. So the practical tip I want you to do here is I want you to, next time there's a small task, literally ask for help. Maybe you're at the grocery store and there is this product that's high up on the shelf. Go ask for help. Don't be superwoman trying to do it yourself. When there's a door and you're walking in somewhere, if there's a man in front of you, let him open the door for you and say thank you. And almost, I want you to do it in a way that you're expecting the help. You're expecting someone to open a door for you. You're expecting someone to help you do some type of task. So think about this small task, and the next time you have the small task, I want you to slow down, because again, femininity is about slowing down, and I want you to look for help. There you have it, ladies, the 5 ways to embrace and enable your femininity. And I want you to remember, it's not about changing who you are, because all of us have feminine energy. It's deep down inside of us. If you are a woman, we all have this intuitive, soft self. And it's just really an opportunity for you to bring it out to the forefront and to start to practice these 5 tips. And you will see with time that you're going to start to embrace your femininity more and more and more. And I also want you to understand that we have the feminine and the masculine. And so one of the videos I will do is I'm going to talk about balancing the femininity and the masculinity, and understand when and where it's appropriate to bring both of those to the forefront. But I want you to understand that embracing your feminine energy is powerful, it's beautiful, and it's just life-changing. Literally, you start to feel a different way. You start to feel good in your body. And biologically, it helps you to really start to connect to that inner, softer self. And remember, ladies, specifically that last tip of accepting receiving is truly going to change the way you move about the world. And it's literally going to help you to embrace your full feminine power. Now, which tip are you going to try today? I want you to drop in the comments and let me know which tips you are testing out. And if you love this video and you want to see more content like this, I want you to subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you are reminded when the next video is coming through. Until next time, remember to keep shining, flowing. You are a soft queen and you deserve all the goodness in the world. Bye, ladies.